Today I'm gonna show you a trick that will make your vocals shine. What's up? My name is Nick from the Future Musician, and before we continue the video, make sure to hit like and subscribe because that would help me out a lot. So we all want our vocals to have a nice low end and some smooth top end. But sometimes just an EQ is not gonna cut it, and that's why I wanted to show you the Pultec low end trick. And the fun part is that it also works in the top end. So we got a vocal production here I'm working on. Let's just hear how it sounds first.
All of my friends finally convinced me to get out of the house, to help me forget, to help me move on.
Alright, so that's the vocals, including the EQ moves I did. I'll just turn off the EQ so that you just hear the vocals, and I'll turn the vocals and I'll play the vocals in solo.
All of my friends finally convinced me to get out of the house.
Alright, so I did some basic EQ. I've got the FabFilter Pro Q here. So what I did is I removed a little bit of the low mids to make it a little bit less muddy. I added in some top end and a little bit of mids to make the vocals come up front a little bit more. And I will turn it on as it's playing.
All of my friends finally convinced me to get out of the house.
So that's an instant improvement, but sometimes you want a little bit more than this. And a really cool EQ trick is the Pultec low end trick. So let me show you what that means. So this is an emulation of a Pultec EQ. And basically what the Pultec low end trick is, you have a boost knob and you have an add knob. So this basically boosts some frequencies and this will reduce some frequencies. I've got the low frequency here set at 60 because that's also a thing with Pultec EQs, is that 60 isn't really 60, it's more like in the 100-ish area if I found. But it's really simple. What you do is you boost some EQ, but you are also gonna cut at the same frequency. And this might sound a little bit strange because that would mean that the sound is still the same now. If you would use a FabFilter Pro Q, then you would end up with the same sound. But because of in the real Pultec, they have some different circuits, and so basically those two knobs don't do the same thing. They don't use the same curve, they don't use the specific same frequencies, which means that if you add a lot of low end, and you add in some of it, so you reduce some low end of it, yeah, it will do something really cool. And I also did the same in the high end because that tends to work too. And you must hear the difference, it's massive. I'll play first without and then with.
All of my friends finally convinced.
Alright, with.
All of my friends finally convinced me to get.
So it sounds bigger in the low end. It sounds a little bit smoother in the top end, and they added in some highs, but it still sounds natural and not overdone. Because if I would pull these knobs back, so I'll just add in the frequencies.
All of my friends finally convinced.
Also sounds good, but it's a little bit much for me. So I'll just add in the same amount of reduction as I boosted it, which ended up sounding like.
All of my friends finally convinced.
And you can go way over the top with this. You can boost it even more and add in it just a little bit. So it sounds like this.
All of my friends finally convinced me to get out of the house.
It's a little bit much for me, so I'll pull it back a little bit. So I'll end up like this. So I'll show you one more time the before. It's like this.
All of my friends finally convinced me.
Alright, with the Pultec.
All of my friends finally convinced.
In combination with the piano.
All of my friends finally convinced me. All of my friends finally convinced.
So I didn't do a lot, but when I turn it off, the vocal, it instantly sounds smaller, it sounds thinner, and yeah, I just never want to take this plugin off again. So the Pultec low end trick, you just basically add in the same amount of gain as you reduce it, and it will still affect the sound in a really cool Pultec-y way, because that's what it's emulated after. And they call it the low end trick, but I also find that it tends to work in the high end and in the top end. So yeah, it's a really cool trick, and it does something really cool to the vocals. It makes it sound bigger, and yeah, I always want my vocals to sound bigger. So here you have it, the Pultec low end trick. I hope this video was helpful. If so, please do let me know in the comments, and I will see you in the next video.